Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Ram Jayam Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vikhnopashantaye. Namaskar and welcome back to Amara Bharati Samskrita YouTube channel, where we are studying the Manika CBSE Class 9 Sanskrit textbook. In that, the Dvitiyaha Pathaha, lesson number 2, called Patheyam. Patheyam means a basket of wise sayings for our journey of life. We now look at the lesson along with an English explanation. First, the meaning of the title, Patheyam. Patheyam is a basket of eatables, provisions for a journey. In our case, each of us has to undertake a journey of life, the journey of life. So what is life? Life is a journey from womb to tomb. In this journey, we have happiness, sorrow, relationships, tasks, work, activities, exams, learnings, wins, losses, and so many things. Some food for the mind to ponder over for this journey is what is given here. That is, some sayings useful for our journey of life. Patheyam has an English word called viaticum, which is a supply of provisions for a journey. So, the title is A Basket of Wise Sayings for this journey of our life. In the beginning, we have a conversation here. Vivekaha. Aye, Vishala, O Vishal, Namaste, salutations to you. Agacha, Upavisha, come, sit down. Vishalaha, Vishal says, Namaste, salutations Viveka, O Vivek. Upavishami, I'll sit down. Paranto, however, Tvantu kutrapi gantum udyataha iva pratiyatse. Tvantu kutrapi gantum udyataha iva pratiyase. What is the meaning of this? You seem to be getting ready to go somewhere else. Vivek says, Vivekaha, yes, mama matulaha yuddhakshetrat pratinivruttaha. My maternal uncle has returned from the war front, from the war zone. Aham tam drashtum gacchami. I am going to see him. Then Vishal says, Aho, dhanyaha tava matulaha. Fortunate or blessed indeed is your uncle, maternal uncle. Yaha, who evam desha sevayam samlagnaha, who is engaged in serving our country. Atra syute kimetat nayasi. What are you taking in this bag? Vivek says, syute patheyam asti. In this bag is patheyam. Vishal asks, Patheyam, kim bhavati? What is patheyam? Then Vivek says, Vihasya, smiling. Shrunu, listen. Pathi hitakaram patheyam bhavati. That which is enjoyable and useful during the journey, which is beneficial during the journey, is patheyam. Hitakaram, which is useful, beneficial. Ataha syute kanichit phalani. Athacha, therefore in this bag are some fruits and also Jnana Vardhanaya Dvitrani Pustakani api santi, and 2 or 3 books for improvement of knowledge along my journey. Vishal says, Idanim Nyatam. Now I got to know. Now you also got to know, I believe. Ataeva asmakam Manika Pathya Pustake Patheyam iti pathe Subhashitani santi. Therefore, in our Manika textbook, in this lesson, Patheyam, are given Subhashitas. Vivek says, Then Vivek says, Vivekaha nanu subhashitani eva asmakam jivane margadarshanam kurvanti. Indeed, only subhashitas give proper direction in our life. Vishal says, Shubhaya bhavatu te patheyam. May your patheyam be favorable, be propitious. May give good things, auspicious. So, in this title, Sotsahanam nastya sadhyam naranam margarabdhaha sarvayatnaha phalanti. There is nothing impossible for one who is filled with enthusiasm. All endeavors embarked on will yield fruits or results. So the bag in these pictures, he's carrying a bag and he's carrying a bag. This is nothing but Patheyam, which is a basket, which is a bag containing eatables along a journey, which are useful along a journey. Now a little bit about the Subhashita. The word Subhashitam is said to be formed by the combination of two words, Su and Bhashitam. The meaning of Su is beautiful, sweet, noble and good, whereas the meaning of Bhashitam is what is said, what is told, words, sayings. This way, the meaning of the word Subhashitam is beautiful sayings, good sayings, noble counsel, words of wisdom. The collection of Subhashitas in Sanskrit is so huge that no other language can match this collection, both in terms of quality and quantity. If you start studying this collection of Sanskrit Subhashitas, it will take you several years, maybe several decades of study. It is no exaggeration to state that there is no topic in our life which is not touched by one or the other Subhashita. In your future life, I believe you will study more and more Subhashitas and get inspired, get enriched, and apply them in your own life. Now we go to the first one. Prithvivyam trini ratnani jalamannam subhashitam mudhaif pashana khandeshu ratna sanya vidhiyate. Prithvivyam trini ratnani jalamannam subhashitam mudhaif pashana khandeshu ratna sanya vidhiyate. Padacheda is like this. Prithvivyam Trini Ratnani Jalam Annam Subhashitam Mudhaihi Pashana Khandeshu Ratnasanya Vidhiyate. Anvaya, the prose order is Prithvivyam Jalam Annam Subhashitam Cha Trini Ratnani Bhavanti Mudhaihi Pashana Khandeshu Ratnasanya Vidhiyate. What is the Pratipadartha? We'll see. Prithivyam, on this earth or in this earth, Trini Ratnani, three gems, Jalam, Annam, Subhashitam, water, food and Subhashitas, Mudhaihi, by fools, Pashana Khandeshu, in stone pieces, Ratna Sanya, the name of precious stone, Vidhiyate, is done, given or understood. What is the overall meaning? On this earth or in this earth, there are only three gems or jewels. One is water, second is food, and third is Subhashitas. However, fools give the name of jewels to pieces of stone, as in diamonds, etc. So the overall explanation is, go behind the only three jewels on this earth: water, food, and Subhashitas. Don't get carried away by precious gems like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, pearls, etc., which are just modifications of stone indeed. Indeed, modifications of matter. Fools do so, so don't be like them. It is possible to lead our life without precious stones, but it is not possible to live without food, water, or our most precious Subhashitas. We go to the next one. Kalpadruma kalpitameva sute sa kamadhuk kamitameva dogdhi chintamanish chintitameva datte satam hi sangah sakalam prasute kalpadruma kalpitameva sute sakamadukkamitameva dogdhi चिंतामणिश्चिंतितमेव दत्ते सतां हि संगः sakalam prasute. Padavibhaga is like this: kalpadrumaha kalpitam eva sute sa kamadhuk kamitam eva dogdhi चिंतामणि चिंतितम एव दत्ते सताम ही संगः सकलम प्रसूते. अन्वया इज कल्पद्रुमः कल्पितम एव सूते सा कामधुक् कामितम एव दोग्धि चिंतामणि चिंतितम एव दत्ते परम सताम संगः हि सकलम प्रसूते. The Pratipadartha is like this: Kalpadrumaha, the wish fulfilling tree or Kalpavriksha, Kalpitam eva, only what is imagined or what is thought, Sute, bestows, Sa Kamadhuk, that Kamadhenu, cow, Kamitam eva, only what is desired, Dogdhi, yields or bestows, Chintamanihi, a precious gem which yields all that is thought of, Chintitameva, only that which is thought of, datte, gives. Satam Sangaha, association, company of noble, wise persons, he Sakalam Prasute, bestows everything. What is the overall meaning? The Kalpataru tree bestows only what is thought of, what is imagined in its presence. The Kamadhenu cow yields only what is desired in its presence. The Chintamani gem bestows only what is thought of. However, the association of wise noble persons bestows everything. The Kalpataru tree, the Kamadhenu cow and the Chintamani gems can bestow only material benefits, only what we desire and what we think. However, the company of noble persons bestows everything. One meaning which can be ascribed is that a person gets contentment with whatever he has or he or she has, irrespective of his or her status in society, because of the company of noble people, company of great people. So, Beku ennuvavanu badava, Saku ennuvavanu Srimanta. There is a saying in Kannada which means whoever has more and more wants, material wants, is actually poor, however money he may have. A person who says enough is indeed a rich person, however poor in terms of wealth he may be. So that kind of contentment is what we get by the company of Satam Sangha, which means the company of noble people. We get contentment in whatever we have with us. And perhaps the company of noble people can also bestow some material things, but that becomes immaterial. Mankuti Manakaga has a kagga called Beku Bekadu Beku. I want so many things. But then contentment is what is most important, where all the wants of the person are removed. And that's what gives real peace of mind. And that's what the company of noble people will give. Next one. Gachan pipilako yati yojananam shatanyapi agachan vainateyopi padamekanna gacchati. Gachan pipilako yati yojananam shatanyapi agachan vainateyopi padamekanna gacchati. Padacheda is like this: Gachan pipilakaha yati yojananam Shatani api agachan vainateyah api padam ekam na gacchati. Anvaya is gachan pipilakah yati yojananam shatani api agachan vainateyah api ekam padam na gacchati. The Pratipadartha is like this: Gachan, moving, Pipilakaha, a large black ant, Yati, goes, travels, Yojananam, yojanas, a measure of distance, shatani api, even hundreds, agachan, without moving, vainateyaha api, even Garuda bird, ekam padam, a single step, nagachati, will not go, will not travel. The overall meaning is a large black ant, while moving, can travel even hundreds of yojanas. Yojana is a measure of distance. However, even the mighty Garuda bird, without moving, cannot travel even a single step. So, what is the meaning? Never be static, never be stationary, always be dynamic, be in movement. In this world, always one has to keep on putting effort, keep on persisting, keep on moving forward. Never should one become static, inactive, slothful. However tiny be one's status in society, however tiny be one's size, one should always be dynamic, in motion. However big be someone in size, if static, then he will be overtaken by the smaller person who keeps persisting. Persistence, perseverance is what is important. Always be active, never lazy. In Kannada, we say there's a song, Nade Munde, Nade Munde, Nuggi Nade Munde. There's a song like that. So, always go forward. Fourth one, Shoko nashayate dhairyam, Shoko nashayate shrutam, Shoko nashayate sarvam, Nasti shoka samo ripuhu, Shoko nashayate dhairyam, Shoko nashayate shrutam, Shoko nashayate sarvam, Nasti shoka samo ripuhu. Padacheda is Shokaha नाशयते धैर्यं शोकः नाशयते श्रुतं शोकः नाशयते सर्वं न अस्ति शोकसमः रिपुः. अन्वया is prose order is शोकः धैर्यं नाशयते शोकः श्रुतं अपि नाशयते शोकः सर्वं नाशयते शोकसमः रिपुः न अस्ति. The Pratipadartha is like this. Shoka means grief or sorrow. Nashayate, destroys. Dhairya means courage, valor, fortitude. Shokaha, grief. Nashayate, destroys. Shrutam, what is heard, what is learnt, the learning and education. Shokaha, grief. Nashayate, destroys. Sarvam, everything. Na asti is not there, there does not exist. Shoka samaha, equal, equivalent to grief. Ripuhu, enemy or adversary. So the overall meaning is grief destroys valor or fortitude. Grief destroys what is learned. Grief destroys our knowledge. Grief destroys everything indeed. There exists no adversary equivalent to grief. Now, grief or sorrow destroys one's courage, knowledge, in fact, everything. There's no foe on earth equivalent to grief. Not even the mightiest enemy can equal one's own inner state of sorrow. Therefore, always be positive, with positive state of mind. Never get into grief, sorrow. You may recall the state of Arjuna at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, which is shown here. The Venerable Sri Adi Shankaracharya says that Arjuna's state of mind was of Shoka Mohau. This is what the two afflictions in Arjuna's mind were: Shoka, grief, and Moha, which is confusion or delusion. Lord Krishna says, Ashocyan Anvashochastvam, do not get Shoka in this particular shloka of the Gita, and say Ma Shuchaha, do not grieve, he says in this particular shloka. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is a psychological kind of a message by Lord Krishna for Arjuna not to grieve and all, not to have moha, to get rid of the moha, because he is thinking of dharma as adharma, duty as non-duty, and things like that. So all the confusion of the mind and the grief of the mind get removed by Krishna in this, what they call is the very first psychological textbook or the message in the whole world given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. This, they say, is the Bhagavad Gita is the first psychology textbook in the whole world, is what some people say. We go next. गौरवं प्राप्यते दानात् न तु वित्तस्य सञ्चयात् स्थितिरुच्चैः पयोदानां पयोधीनामधस्थितिः गौरवं प्राप्यते दानात् न तु वित्तस्य सञ्चयात् स्थितिरुच्चैः पयोदानां पयोधीनामधस्थितिः. पदच्छेद is गौरवं प्राप्यते दानात् न तु वित्तस्य संचयात् स्थितिः उच्चैः पयोदानां पयोधीनां अधः स्थितिः. अन्वय is दानात् गौरवं प्राप्यते वित्तस्य संचयात् तु न एव प्राप्यते. पयोदानां स्थितिः उच्चैः भवति परं पयोधीनां स्थितिः अधः एव भवति. The Pratipadartha is like this. Gauravam is respect or dignity. Prapyate is obtained by Danat, charity, charitable work. Natu, not indeed. Vittasya, of wealth. Sanchayat, accumulation. Sthitihi, state of existence. Uchchaihi, high, elevated. Payodanam, of clouds. Payodhinam, of oceans, seas. Adhaha, lower. Sthitihi, state of existence. That is, Payoda is a cloud. Payoda means whatever it gives. Payodhi is what is an ocean. Next, we go to the overall meaning. Respect, dignity is obtained by charity and not indeed by mere accumulation of wealth. Rain-bearing clouds are elevated, lofty, high up above, whereas rain-consuming seas are in the lower regions. A person who works hard and earns money should also donate a part of his or her earnings in charity. A person who keeps on accumulating wealth without giving in charity is indeed called just as a miser, whereas a wealthy person who gives generous donations is indeed well respected in society. The example given here is of a water-bearing cloud on the top, high up in the sky. Clouds shower rains which keep the ground fresh and green, whereas water gets accumulated in the oceans which are in low-lying regions. Next one. सद्भिस्तु लीलया प्रोक्तं शिलालिखितमक्षरम् असद्भिः शपथेनापि जले लिखितमक्षरम् सद्भिस्तु लीलया प्रोक्तं शिलालिखितमक्षरम् असद्भिः शपथेनापि जले लिखितमक्षरम्. पदच्छेद is सद्भिः तु लीलया प्रोक्तं शिलालिखितम् अक्षरम् असद्भिः शपथेन अपि जले लिखितम् अक्षरम्. The अन्वया is सद्भिः तु लीलया प्रोक्तं शिलालिखितम् अक्षरम् एव भवति असद्भिः शपथेन अपि प्रोक्तं जले लिखितम् अक्षरम् एव भवति. The Pratipadartha is like this. Sadbhihi tu, by noble persons indeed, Leelaya, sportingly, Proktam, whatever is said or uttered, Shila Likhitam, written on stone or cast in stone, Aksharam, letters, words, Asadbhihi, by those who tell lies, Shapathena api, even though given as a promise, Jale Likhitam, written on a water surface, Aksharam, letters or words. The overall meaning is, words uttered by noble persons, even though told sportingly, are indeed words cast in stone, whereas words uttered by deceivers, liars, even though given as promises, are indeed words written on a water surface. What is the overall meaning? The explanation. A noble person always has unison between his or her words and actions. Such a person's words, messages will always be adhered to, even though uttered in a sporting manner. They are as though words carved in stone, which last forever, whereas words of a deceiver will never match with his or her actions. Even though such a person may promise something, she will not adhere to this promise. This is as though letters written on a water surface which does not last even for a moment. नम्रास्तरवः फलोद्गमैः नवाम्बुभिर्भूरिविलम्बिनो घनाः अनुद्धताः सत्पुरुषाः समृद्धिभिः स्वभाव एवैष परोपकारिणाम् भवन्ति नम्रास्तरवः फलोद्गमैः नवाम्बुभिर्भूरिविलम्बिनो घनाः अनुद्धताः सत्पुरुषाः समृद्धिभिः स्वभाव एवैष परोपकारिणाम्. Padacheda is like this: Bhavanti namraha taravaha phala udgamaihi navambubhihi bhuri vilambinaha ghanaha anuddhataha satpurushaha samriddhibhihi swabhavaha eva esha परोपकारिणाम्. तरवः फलोद्गमैः नम्राः भवन्ति घनाः नवाम्बुभिः भूरिविलम्बिनः भवन्ति सत्पुरुषाः समृद्धिभिः अनुद्धताः भवन्ति एष एव परोपकारिणां स्वभावः भवति. We go to the Pratipadartha. Bhavanti means become, namraha humble, taravaha trees, phala udgamaihi upon bearing fruits, navambubhihi with fresh waters, bhuri vilambinaha hanging low towards the earth, ghanaha clouds, anuddhataha not become arrogant, satpurushaha noble persons, samriddhibhihi in the midst of plenty, swabhavaha essential nature, eva esha is indeed paropakarina of the generous benevolent ones. Overall meaning is, trees bend down with the rising yield of fruit, clouds hang very low when charged with fresh water. Noble persons in the midst of plenty and prosperity don't become arrogant. This is indeed the essential nature of the benevolent ones. A tree bends its branches when it is laden with fruits. This shows the humility of a tree in allowing people to pluck its fruits. Rain-bearing clouds drop down low when heavy with fresh water. This is how they show their humility. In the midst of plenty and prosperity, noble persons show modesty and are approachable. This is indeed their essential nature, inherent nature of the benevolent persons, eager to help the others. Now, one small note. This is taken from the Abhijnana Shakuntalam by the great poet Kalidasa. Now, if you want to know more about Kalidasa, there's a small book published by the Rashtrothana Sahitya on the life of Kalidasa. Now, there's also a movie which is made by the scholar by name Dushyant Sridhar called Shakuntalam, which contains the story Abhijnana Shakuntalam in the form of a movie available on OTT platform. I would suggest you read this book, you buy this book and read this book on Kalidasa, and also watch this movie by Sri Dushyant Sridhar, which is available on the OTT platform. Now, where do you get the Rashtrothana Sahitya books? There's a website called sahityabooks.com, and there's an entire series called Bharata Bharati Books. In English, there are more than 200 books. The cost of each book is just 15 rupees. I would urge you strongly to approach your parents and buy 10, 15, 20 of these books and get them to your home through by ordering on this website. Not just 10, 15, you can buy how much ever you want, because each of these books is really very, very valuable and contains very concise, brief information and really valuable information about all the great people. 200 or more of these titles are available. I would strongly recommend you to buy some of these books, including the Kalidasa book which I mentioned in the previous slide. Maybe when you buy a small pen or pencil, you'll spend 15 rupees. You can spend the same 15 rupees here and buy 10-15 books. You get 10-15 of those books which are useful. Next one. काष्ठादग्निर्जायते मध्यमानात् भूमिस्तोयं खन्यमाना ददाति सोत्साहानां नास्त्य साध्यन्नराणां मार्गारब्धाः सर्वयत्नाः फलन्ति काष्ठादग्निर्जायते मध्यमानात् भूमिस्तोयं खन्यमाना ददाति सोत्साहानां नास्त्य साध्यन्नराणां मार्गारब्धाः सर्वयत्नाः फलन्ति. The Padacheda is like this. Kashthat agnihi jayate matyamanat bhumihi toyam khanyamana dadati. Sotsahanam is sa utsahanam na asti asadhyam naranam marga arabdhaha sarvayatnaha phalanti. Anvaya is मध्यमानात् काष्ठात् अग्निः जायते खन्यमाना भूमिः तोयं ददाति सोत्साहानां नराणां कृते किमपि असाध्यं न अस्ति मार्गे आरब्धाः सर्वयत्नाः फलन्ति एव. The Pratipadartha is like this. Kašthat from firewood, Agnihi fire, Jayate is born, Madhyamanat upon churning, Bhumihi earth, Toyam water, Khanyamana upon being dug, Dadati gives, Sotsahanam of enthusiastic, Na asti is not there, Asadhyam impossible, Naranam of persons, Marga Arabdhaha whatever is started, along a righteous path, Sarvayatnaha all the efforts, Phalanti will become fruitful. What is the overall meaning? Pieces of firewood when churned give rise to fire. Earth when dug yields water. There is nothing impossible for those persons filled with enthusiasm. All efforts towards work started along a righteous path yield fruits, results. So, a piece of firewood, when kept static, will not give rise to fire. Two such pieces, arani, have to be rubbed, churned properly according to a Vedic procedure as described in the Vedas. It has to be churned, they have to be churned properly, and then only fire can be generated from that. So there is an effort involved in generating fire from a piece of firewood. That's how in the olden days they used to have the homas, the yajnas. So the fire used to come from the firewood which was churned in a proper manner. Similarly, water does not come from the earth without digging. There is an effort of digging involved in getting the water from the earth. Similarly, a person filled with enthusiasm will take all actions, will do everything to make things happen. All efforts put towards achieving goals along a righteous path. Marga means dharma marga. On the righteous path will certainly yield results, will certainly bear fruits. Efforts have to be put continuously towards reaching the goals, which means no effort has to be spared. I will relax, I'll make a compromise. No, nothing like that. Full enthusiasm till the goal is reached. You may have seen a series of movies called as Mission Impossible. This Mission Impossible is what this Sotsahanam Naranam, those kind of people, the persons filled with enthusiasm will achieve whatever is Mission Impossible, and those that can be you. So you have to put continuous efforts towards reaching the goal, and you can really achieve what is impossible for others. Next one. Vayamiha paritushta परितुष्टा वल्कलैस्त्वं दुकूलैः मम इह परितोषो निर्विशेषो विशेषः स तु भवति दरिद्रो यस्य तृष्णा विशाला मनसि च परितुष्टे कोऽर्थवान् को दरिद्रः वयमिह परितुष्टाः वल्कलैस्त्वन्दुकूलैः मम इह परितोषो निर्विशेषो विशेषः स तु भवति दरिद्रो यस्य तृष्णा विशाला मनसि च परितुष्टे कोऽर्थवान् को दरिद्रः. Padacheda is like this. Vayam iha paritushtaha valkalaihi tvam dukugulaihi mama iha paritoshaha nirvisheshaha visheshaha saha tu bhavati daridraha yasya trishna vishala manasi cha paritushte kaha arthavan kaha daridraha. Anvaya is इह वयं वल्कलैः परितुष्टाः स्मः परं त्वं दुकूलैः परितुष्टः असि. इह परितोषः समः अस्ति, विशेषः निर्विशेषः अस्ति. सः तु दरिद्रः भवति यस्य तृष्णा विशाला अस्ति. परितुष्टे मनसि दरिद्रः कः अस्ति, अर्थवान् कः अस्ति च. The pratipadarthas are like this. Vayam is we. Iha, here, means in this world. Paritushtaha, satisfied, happy. Valkalaihi, with bark garments. Tvam, you. Dukulaihi, with silken garments. Mama, my. Iha, here. Paritosha, satisfaction, happiness. Nirvishesha, where there is no difference. Vishesha, special. Sahatu, he indeed. Bhavati, becomes daridraha, poor. Yasya, of whom. Trishna, thirst, desire, greed, desire. Vishala, broad, vast. Manasi, in mind, mentality. Cha, and paritushte, if one is happy, satisfied. Kaha arthavan, who is wealthy. Kaha daridraha, who is poor. What is the overall meaning? We are happy with bark garments, whereas you are happy with silken garments. Happiness, or the feeling of happiness of both of us, is the same, and there's nothing special. There's nothing special which has come because of my bark garments or your silk garments. Happiness, the state of happiness, is the same, is what the poet is telling. That person is poor whose greed, avarice is big, huge. If one is happy mentally, internally, then who is rich and who is poor? Is the question asked. This is taken from the great poet Bhartrhari's Shatakatrayam. Shatakatraya, especially the Vairagya Shataka. There are 3 Shatakas. One is Niti Shataka, second is Shringara Shataka, and third is Vairagya Shataka. So this particular verse is taken from the Vairagya Shataka. In that part of the Vairagya Shataka where Yati Nripati Samvadaha is told. Yati is a hermit or a sage, and Nripati is a king. So there's a conversation between a hermit, a sage, and a king, and that's where this shloka is told. The hermit is telling that I am happy with bark garments, whereas you need silken clothes to be happy. So, but the state of happiness with both of us is the same. Happiness is only in the mind and not in the external material objects which we possess. A person may have a costly luxury car but may be internally sad and morose, whereas a person traveling in an ordinary bus or a simple two-wheeler may be fully contented and happy. So let's be contented with whatever we have. If you want to know more about Bhartrhari, on this channel called Chinmaya channel in YouTube, there's an Upanishad Ganga. There's a series called Upanishad Ganga, a beautiful series in which the episode number 11, which talks about the goal called as Kama, this entire episode is devoted to the king Bhartrhari. A very beautiful anecdote from Bhartrhari's life is told in this particular story. If you have 20 minutes to spare, 23 minutes to spare, I strongly urge you to watch this Upanishad Ganga episode number 11 to look at the story of Bhartrhari. Next we go to the next one. ऐश्वर्यभूषणं सुजनता शौर्यस्य वाक् संयमो ज्ञानस्योपशमः कुलस्य विनयो वित्तस्य पात्रे व्ययः अक्रोधस्तपसः क्षमा बलवतां धर्मस्य निर्व्याजता सर्वेषामपि सर्वकारणमिदं शीलं परं भूषणम् ऐश्वर्यस्य विभूषणं सुजनता शौर्यस्य वाक् संयमो ज्ञानस्योपशमः कुलस्य विनयो वित्तस्य पात्रे व्ययः अक्रोधस्तपसः क्षमा बलवतां धर्मस्य निर्व्याजता सर्वेषामपि सर्वकारणमिदं शीलं परं भूषणम्. The Padacheda is Aishwaryasya Vibhushanam Sujanata Shauryasya Vak Samyamaha Jnanasya Upashamaha Kulasya Vinayaha Vittasya Patre Vyayaha Akrodha Tapasaha Kshama Balavatam Dharmasya Nirvyajata Sarvesham Api Sarvakaranam Idam Shilam Param Bhushanam. Anvaya is Aishwaryasya Vibhushanam Sujanata Bhavati. Shauryasya Vibhushanam Vak Samyamaha Bhavati. Jnanasya Vibhushanam Upashamaha Bhavati. Kulasya Vibhushanam Vinayaha Bhavati. Vittasya Vibhushanam Patre Vyayaha Bhavati. Tapasah Vibhushanam Akrodha Bhavati. Balavatam Vibhushanam Kshama Bhavati. Dharmasya Vibhushanam Nirvyajata Bhavati. Sarvesham Api Sarvakaranam Idam Shilam Param Bhushanam Asti. Quite a long shloka. We look at the Pratipadarthas. Aishwaryasya of wealth, Vibhushanam ornament, adornment, Sujanata good conduct, Shauryasya of valor, Vak Samyamaha restraint in speech, Jnanasya of wisdom, knowledge, Upashamaha mental tranquility, Kulasya of good lineage, Vinayaha humility, Vittasya of money, Patre to the right person, right cause, Vyayaha spending, Akrodha non-anger, Tapasaha penance, austerity, Kshama ability to pardon or forgiveness, Balavatam of a person with strength, Dharmasya of righteous conduct, Nirvyajata getting unbiased, no deceit, Sarvesham of all of these persons, Api also, Sarvakaranam the cause of all, Idam this, Sheelam character morality, Param ultimate highest, Bhushanam or ornament. The overall meaning is good conduct is the ornament for wealth. Restraint in speech is the ornament for valor. Tranquility of mind is the ornament for wisdom or knowledge. For a person having a good lineage, humility is the ornament for spending money. Benevolence to a deserving person is the ornament. For a person practicing penance, austerity, not getting angry, is the ornament. For a strong, capable person, forgiveness is the ornament. Being unbiased without deceit is the ornament for a person adhering to dharma. For all of these persons, the cause of all of these good qualities is indeed character, morality, which is the ultimate ornament, the Param Bhushanam. This is taken from that same Bhartrhari poet's Shatakatraya, which is Niti Shatakam. So the first Shataka is Niti Shataka, second is Shringara Shataka, and third is Vairagya Shataka. This one, Shloka number 10, is taken from the Niti Shatakam, and in that the Dhairya Prashamsa part of the Niti Shatakam. Now I want to tell you one small thing about this word called Patheyam. In the Mukunda Mala, of which you can download an English translation at the eBooks TTD website, or the Kannada translation from the Adhyatma Prakasha Karyalaya website, this word called Patheyam comes, which says, to me, the food carried for a journey of my Jivatman, my soul's journey, is indeed the nectar of Krishna's name, which gives great fortune. You can pause the video and read the meaning fully. Well, this brings me to the end of this video on the lesson part of the Patheyam, second chapter. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share. See you in the next video with the exercise part of the same lesson. YouTube Amarabharati Samskrita. Shubham Bhoyat. Mangalamastu. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu.